mitochondrial Eve.
Mitochondrial Eve.
Mitochondrial Eve.
Dear African woman, you are the mother of the human race. Scientifically, you are the only organ that possesses the mitochondrial DNA that has all the variations of human beings. The African, the European, the albino, the Middle Eastern, the Asian, etc.
Mitochondria are passed only from the mother. And you can look at the genes there and trace back. We could trace back to what we call mitochondrial Eve. Our species almost died. We got down to about 30,000 individuals, all in what today is maybe Southwest Africa. And the DNA shows that every person on Earth evolved from that one tiny population. So not only is there no such thing as race in humans, it doesn't exist. Sure, we have differences. So what? Little differences. There's no such thing as race. We're all African. We're all African.
We're all African.
Every human being on Earth today can trace a common ancestral line back to one woman in Africa through the mitochondrial DNA. How do scientists know? DNA is the blueprint of life.
Some years ago, we all gave DNA. They took DNA from people all over the world, and they found out something that to me just blows my mind. The DNA showed there is no such thing as race in humans. We are so all incredibly alike. And the second one is the best part. We are absolutely all Africans. We all came from that one small population in Africa.
Why do we all look so different?
How do we all evolve and look different? How did I come to look different?
Okay, the
from
skin,
her,
your
for
skin
example?
color, you come from a tropical area. It protected you against ultraviolet radiation. But all of human skin color is only 7 genes. It's nothing. So skin color certainly is an adaptation for dark skin for protection against ultraviolet radiation.
As Africans migrated to colder parts of the world, the amount of melanin in the skin reduced and the skin color changed. Africa is the birthplace of the human race. Why do we know so much about Europe and America and so little about ourselves? Why? We need to start learning about our history. We need to start teaching our children the greatness that is in us. We need to start teaching our children about our great heroes of the past, the great warriors of the past. We need to teach our children to be proud of their beautiful continent, the motherland. We need to be proud of the color of our skin and the texture of our hair. We need to be proud of our heritage, our culture, our traditions, our language. We need to do better. Dear African woman, you are the original. You are the mother of the human race. So how do you reconcile science and faith?
I'm a scientist that believes the tools of science are the way to understand the natural world, and one needs to be rigorous about that. But I'm also a believer in a personal God. I find the scientific worldview and the spiritual worldview to be entirely complementary. And I find it quite wonderful to be able to have both of those worldviews existing in my life in any given day, because each illuminates the other.
The original anthropology goes back a couple of hundred years to white European males. And they believed in like an evolution. Like, just as organisms have become more complex and eventually we got humans, they said you would have hunter-gatherers and you would go through more and more technology, and what would be the greatest society ever? White European male. Of course, that's nonsense, but people believe that. So they came up with this idea called multi-regionalism, with a black state in Africa, the whites evolved in Europe and the Asians in Asia, but somehow evolved in parallel. Because the idea is nonsense, but made sense 150 years ago. And that idea allows them to then declare that the whites are superior. Everyone here came from Africa. And the Khoisan, which is an ethnic group in Southwest Africa, the DNA shows that they are the most similar to our ancestors, and they have that long, skinny body for cooling. it scares me as a biologist because genetic diversity is really the secret to success. And I could see something like the coronavirus being a pandemic because the more diversity you have, the more chance you'll have that there'll be someone in your population that would be resistant. And we have hardly, so not only is there no race, there's really almost no genetic diversity. We're all the same. We're almost too much the same. Mitochondria are organelles in all our cells that burn energy. But mitochondria has some of its own genes. So when you reproduce, the dad is only giving you the nucleus, the nuclear DNA. You get the egg cell contains the mitochondria. So when you look at mitochondrial genes, you're only looking at what came through mothers, through the maternal line.